He stormed out. The cameras flashed, capturing the incandescent rage simmering behind the forced composure. But what they didn't capture was the truth, the real reason Donald Trump abandoned that interview. It started like any other high-profile sit-down. A plush, impeccably lit studio, the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the nervous anticipation crackling in the air. Across from Donald Trump sat Amelia Thorne, a journalist known for her meticulous research and unwavering dedication to uncovering the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Amelia hadn't sought out the interview. It had been offered, a calculated PR move, a chance for Trump to control the narrative, to soften his image, to appear presidential. He'd underestimated Amelia. "Mr. Trump," Amelia began, her voice calm but firm, "thank you for agreeing to this interview. I understand you're eager to discuss your upcoming campaign." Trump leaned forward, a predatory gleam in his eyes. "Absolutely, Amelia. It's time to make America great again, and I'm the only one who can do it." He flashed a practiced smile. "Ask me anything." Amelia nodded, pulling a thick file towards her. It was brimming with documents meticulously organized, each one a potential landmine. "Let's start with your business dealings in the early 2000s, specifically the Paradise Plaza development." Trump's smile faltered, just for a fraction of a second. Paradise Plaza. A great success. A beautiful building, a testament to my vision. A testament that relied heavily on undocumented labor, wouldn't you say? Labor that wasn't paid a fair wage, labor that was exploited to maximize profits. Amelia's voice remained steady, but her words hung heavy in the air. He scoffed. "Fake news, lies fabricated by the liberal media." He pointed a finger at her. "You're just trying to smear me, Amelia. You're part of the deep state." "I'm trying to get to the truth, Mr. Trump, and the truth, according to multiple sworn affidavits, is that your company knowingly hired individuals who were vulnerable, desperate, and easily manipulated." Amelia held up one of the documents. This affidavit from Maria Rodriguez, a single mother who worked on Paradise Plaza, claims she was paid less than minimum wage and threatened with deportation if she complained. Trump's face was starting to redden. "She's lying. They all lie. They're paid to lie," Amelia pressed on. "Then let's move on to your tax returns. Specifically, the substantial losses you declared in the 1990s that allowed you to avoid paying taxes for nearly 2 decades. "Perfectly legal," Trump roared. "I used the system. Everyone does it. You're just jealous. Legal, perhaps, but ethical? Was it ethical to deprive the American people of vital resources while you lived a life of unimaginable luxury?" Amelia's question was sharp, piercing through his carefully constructed defenses. The interview continued, each question a carefully aimed dart, chipping away at Trump's facade. Amelia navigated the conversation with the skill of a seasoned surgeon, exposing inconsistencies, challenging narratives, and forcing him to confront uncomfortable truths. Then came the question that truly broke him. "Mr. Trump," Amelia said, her voice softer now, laced with a hint of empathy, "let's talk about your children." He bristled. "My children are wonderful. They're successful. They're a credit to me." "They are successful," Amelia conceded. "But at what cost? Reports have surfaced alleging that your eldest son, Donald Jr., engaged in questionable business practices that benefited directly from his father's position. And Ivanka, her fashion brand, accused of labor violations in overseas factories. Doesn't it concern you that their success is inextricably linked to your power, to your influence, to the very things that are now under such intense scrutiny?" Trump's eyes narrowed. "You're attacking my family, This is despicable. You're a disgrace to journalism. I'm asking you a question, Mr. Trump, a question that many Americans are asking. How do you reconcile your image as a family man with the allegations of corruption and ethical compromises surrounding your children's careers? Silence hung heavy in the air. Trump stared at Amelia, his face a mask of barely suppressed fury. He opened his mouth to speak, then closed it again. He shifted uncomfortably in his chair, his hands clenched into fists. "This interview is over," he finally spat out, his voice dripping with venom. He stood up abruptly, knocking over a glass of water that shattered on the floor. "You're a nasty woman." He turned and stormed out of the studio, leaving Amelia sitting alone amidst the wreckage of the interview. The cameras continued to roll, capturing his exit, his anger, his utter loss of composure. The footage went viral. "Trump walks out on interview," screamed the headlines. The world saw his rage, his impatience, his contempt. But they didn't see what Amelia saw. They didn't see the fear in his eyes, the fear of exposure, the fear of losing control, the fear of facing the consequences of his actions. What the public didn't know, what Amelia had discovered through months of painstaking research, was a secret, buried deep within Trump's past. A secret that threatened to unravel everything he had built. It wasn't the business dealings, the tax returns, or even the allegations surrounding his children that truly terrified him. It was something far more personal, something that went to the very core of his identity. Amelia knew Trump was intensely sensitive about his image, his carefully constructed persona of a powerful, successful businessman. But she had unearthed evidence that suggested a different story, a story of insecurity, vulnerability, and a desperate need for validation. She had discovered records indicating that Trump's father, Fred Trump, a wealthy real estate developer, had secretly financed many of his son's early ventures, effectively subsidizing his success and shielding him from failure. This revelation, Amelia knew, would shatter the myth of the self-made man, the image that Trump had so carefully cultivated for decades. But that wasn't the whole story. Buried even deeper in the archives, Amelia had found something far more explosive. A letter, written by Fred Trump to a close friend, expressing deep doubts about his son's abilities and his capacity to succeed on his own. The letter read, in part, "Donald has the ambition, but I worry about his judgment. He lacks the patience and the discipline necessary to truly excel. I've given him opportunities that I never had, but I fear he'll squander them all. I just hope he doesn't embarrass the family name." Amelia hadn't revealed the letter during the interview. She had held it back, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect opportunity to deliver the final, crushing blow. But Trump, sensing the direction of the conversation, sensing the impending exposure of his deepest insecurities, had panicked and fled. The real reason Donald Trump walked out of that interview wasn't because of the questions Amelia asked, but because of the questions she was about to ask. He wasn't afraid of the accusations, he was afraid of the truth. The truth about his carefully constructed image, the truth about his reliance on his father, and the truth about his own deep-seated insecurities. In the days that followed, Amelia faced intense scrutiny. She was attacked by Trump's supporters, accused of being a biased, politically motivated journalist. But she stood her ground, unwavering in her commitment to uncovering the truth. She knew that the story wasn't just about Donald Trump. It was about the corrosive power of money and influence, the dangers of unchecked ambition, and the importance of holding those in power accountable. It was a story about the lies we tell ourselves and the truths we try to hide. And as the dust settled, as the headlines faded, one question remained. What price are we willing to pay for the truth? Caroline Leavitt demonstrated grace under fire. Are we? And that, ultimately, is the story behind the interview that made Donald Trump walk out. A story of truth, fear, and the power of accountability. If you found this deep dive insightful, give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more compelling stories that go beyond the headlines.